Institute of Southern Africa, Zimbabwe, MISA, held an Internet Governance Conference under the theme Supporting Free and Secure Online Expression and Access to Information in Zimbabwe. The event discussed issues on the internet ecosystem of Zimbabwe, citing plans of reach, sustainability, and governance to be spearheaded by the Minister of ICT, Postal and Courier Services, Honorable Superman Wanzira.
So number one, we have said access and affordability for all, that the internet being a cornerstone tool/mechanism for the enjoyment of the rights of all Zimbabweans to folks, that is freedom of expression. Number two, promotion of government public accountability, that the internet remains a key tool through which citizens can interact with their governments in pursuit of democratic accountability, transparency, and national development. So number three, democratic regulation. That regulation of the internet must be undertaken in a democratic, participatory, accountable, and independent fashion by the state in consultation with all stakeholders and civil society. Number four, internet regulation principles. That internet regulation must be guided by the following key principles. A, protecting the democratic rights of all citizens to freedom of expression, access to information, privacy, and protection of intellectual property. I think we should add rights there. Of protection of intellectual property rights. B, ensuring all Zimbabweans have access to the internet. C, access to the internet must be affordable and predicated on net neutrality. D, infrastructure development and competition must be friendly to the environment and predicated on environmental sustainability. Number five, internet-based entrepreneurship. The government and stakeholders must value the internet as a key mechanism for innovation, investment, entrepreneurship, access to new markets, and employment for many Zimbabweans in both the present and the future. Copyright. Copyright on the internet may be a priority for policymakers and all internet stakeholders in order to protect intellectual property rights. Number seven, the emerging Internet of Things in our context to our national development needs in a manner that is inclusive, affordable, and accessible for all Zimbabweans. Number eight, advocacy and public awareness that governments, relevant stakeholders, and civil society organizations must continue with public awareness campaigns on the importance of the internet as not only a developmental and entrepreneurial tool, but also as an emerging and inevitable technological cornerstone of folks, ATI, and media freedom. Number nine, promotion and development of local content. That there be the active encouragement and investment in the production and development of local content that is gender sensitive and focused on our national context. Number 10, decriminalization of freedom of expression. That in order for the internet to reach its fullest potential of allowing Zimbabweans to enjoy their human rights, stakeholders must actively embrace the decriminalization of freedom of expression. In Zimbabwe, you can be arrested, though Comrade Otto did not quite mention it in relation to content. In Zimbabwe, you can be arrested for your content. If you post a tweet that insults the president, you'll be arrested. Yeah. Number 11, it talks about cyber security, which I think was mentioned in part and in passing, that there be a democratic arrival at a cyber security framework in relation to national security, privacy, and protection of private property. But such a framework, which we shall add, but such a framework should remain true to the right of all citizens to freedom of expression, media freedom, and access to information.
Yeah. Why narrow it only to national?
To national.
Yeah, because the World Wide Web is actually, it's not limited to Zimbabwe. Yeah. The offender can be out. I think there is need for the governments to have agreements with other governments so that if they have to fish out that criminal, you know, like through Interpol or through those agreements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the issue of jurisdiction to say if the offender is in Malawi and the one maybe offended is in Zimbabwe, what if Malawi doesn't have those laws? But you should be able to go ahead with prosecution in Zimbabwe because you have to How's that going?
Okay, number 12, regional solidarity and lessons learned. As Zimbabweans continue interacting and learning from our neighboring countries in the Southern African, African and broader international community on key development success stories and democratic regulatory frameworks around internet guidelines.
Just a contribution. Next time for such kind of initiative conferences, we have its live stream. It would be good for others who could attend, whether in Malawi, Zambia, in the region, they can also participate during the conference.
Thank you. Any other issue that is arising?
How are we going to deal with corporate censorship? Because most of the stuff that we've been talking about is around government, what the government should do. What about the private players, the business? How are we going to deal with them? Because Facebook actually is censoring people. We may not have experienced it, but I know so many other activists we have actually gone over the lines. They are on the struggle of Facebook. So we need to find ways how are we going to deal with Facebook. Because now, as it is, they are a monopoly, and their own space that they are guarding jealously. So we need to come up, I think, with a resolution. How are we going to deal with corporate censorship, be it at economic level or be it at Facebook? Because all these intermediaries are coming on board, and I think they are posing serious challenges in terms of freedom of expression.
We're going to be having a meeting with Facebook in 2 weeks' time in Nairobi on privacy. So if you've had any issues on policy on privacy that you think I think we should raise, just let me know. And if you want us to propose a meeting in Southern Africa with Facebook as well, we can do that. Then I think there's a point that I raised about working together. I've seen that people like Natasha who are more like into security, internet security, and for us who are in policy, sometimes I think we don't really work together, although now we are beginning to. Usually they speak their own language and we speak our own language. So I think that chasm between those working on regulation and policy and those working on security, the technical people should be closed. Thank you.
I think also suggest that the private companies respect human rights to the fullest extent possible.
Number 14, corporate monopolies and censorship. To engage corporate entities, to engage or to challenge, to engage, that's more diplomatic. To engage corporate entities in internet service provision and telecommunication.
I think we noted that we noted the absence of key stakeholders in internet governance, the mobile network operators, and internet access providers. Now, these are licensed entities from Portugal, and some of them, like Econet, is a custodian of public data. Shouldn't they be compelled to attend to the public, to talk to us, small people here? Just thinking.
Yeah, but that is covered by Dr. Maria's suggestion. But of course, the technicalities of what is this? This was being mentioned. Technicalities of net neutrality are no field now. But we've written about net neutrality. There's a resolution to engage. Okay, so we can add and further engagement with the public on what issues? What should we engage us on?
Any issues? I don't need to limit to this because we're talking about infrastructure sharing issues.
Okay, about issues of internet governance.
Yes.
Thank you. Internet governance. So that we just add that to the marriage clause. There's not a marriage clause. There's a Grail clause, there's a Kabuzai clause, there's a marriage clause. Okay, I'm now going to say these are the resolutions. I don't want to go through them all again because we have run out of time. You will get soft copies, you will see them somewhere, I'm sure in the newspaper, somewhere, from myself and the resolutions production team. Thank you very much.
The Internet Governance Conference also gave an opportunity to bloggers to talk about content creation, dissemination, youth, and the environment in which they would want to work on.
Basically, PO Box content is user generated. You create content that users of an online system are able to access through new technologies that are accessible and affordable to the general public. That is Facebook and Twitter as well. The majority of the content is prepared by the administrators and the whole team, but numerous ancillary submissions are made by the site's users, such as product reviews or comments. Zimbabwe is a nation with freedom of expression, but there might not be freedom of expression after you have published what you have content you have. But the PO Box will monitor on how we dispense information in a way that is not offensive, but at the same time putting the message across. We have never had a problem with securities so far. We believe we are on course at the moment.
A blogger was also called to discuss his experiences of working online and stressed the need for net neutrality.
This is not fair that people have cheaper access to WhatsApp and Facebook than to the rest of the internet. Say WeChat wants to come into Zimbabwe and want people to use their messaging service. It is literally impossible for people to use it because people have a cheaper WhatsApp. They approach Econet and they say, what about if we pay for people to use our application? And Econet says, because that is good. Now it creates a culture of every app that wants to succeed have to pay their way. So WeChat have paid in order to also be zero rated or in order to be bundled. What happens to you who doesn't have a budget like WeChat has? He cannot compete at all because he has no money to be zero rated. If you're competing with that project, you have no chance in hell to be as popular as them. It costs 0 cents for anyone to access their project.
Hi, my name is Natasha Msonza. I work for Zimbabwe, a women's rights organization that brings important commentary to women's issues. I think this is a fantastic initiative by MISA, and in the spirit of what we are touting as multi-stakeholderism, or a multi-stakeholder approach to internet governance, I think such platforms are essential because just looking in the room, there's a representation that is quite fair in terms of civil society and broader civil society. The parting shot I'll just add is that in the creation of any form of regulation for online spaces, we should just be careful to not introduce retrogressive pieces of legislation in the first place, and also we should endeavor to respect human rights and also ensure that we have necessary and proportionate measures put in place, not just for the sake of regulating the internet, maybe for political objectives or for social control, but for genuine inclusion and dealing with possible cyber crimes.
My name is Gift Ostalo Sisiba from Investor Zimbabwe. I'm representing Zimbabwe National Students Union. And we're in support of those who are pushing the agenda of independence of the media people, access to information, which is also crucial because information is power, and it is this information that can help us develop as a society.
We learned a lot, especially concerning issues of internet governance and politics, media laws in Zimbabwe, how they are curtailing our work as journalists. If we are to pull together as all stakeholders interested in media, we can actually achieve better by pushing the authorities, those who are in power, to liberalize our media space so that we can have much more access to information and media freedom. Thank you.